Hey. Hey, it's Elisa, but you can call me Ellie. So I went on a trip to Walt Disney World in July of 2021. After I got back, I got swept up in the reality of real life, got back to work, kind of pushed all of my Disney World stuff in a corner mentally and physically. And so I only was just recently able to finish editing and uploading all of the video footage from the actual trip itself, which I highly recommend checking those videos out. And then now I'm finally unpacking my suitcase, which has been sitting in a corner of my very, very messy office since I got back. Finally unpacked it. I was in the groove of unpacking things, but now it is 3:02 a.m. on a weeknight and I'm exhausted. But I told myself I would get all of this done today. I still have a little bit of energy left in me. I know if I don't do this now, it's not going to happen again for a while, and all of this stuff is just going to be sitting in my room, and I want to make sure that I can check something off my checklist before I go to bed. So I have one more set of things to show you before I will be done with this whole unpacking chaos. So let's get to it. Okay, so I said that I wanted to show you what I had in my park bag. So this is the bag that I brought with me to the parks every day. I really like this bag. I got it from Amazon, I think. I don't recognize the brand at all. I don't know if I like it because it's a great bag or just because it's what I'm used to, but it's good. First of all, it's pink. It's hard to tell because it's so dirty and grimy. It's so gross. It's also a really nice fabric, or whatever you would call the stuff. It's not waterproof, but it is water repellent. So if you like submerged it in a pool, it would definitely still get like soaking wet. But if it's raining a little bit, it'll bounce off at least a little bit. So that way the stuff inside stays a little bit more dry than like a traditional canvas backpack, which is good for Disney World because Florida and rain, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I got it when I did. Also, you might notice I have some things hanging off the side. Hand sanitizer, which I probably didn't use as much as I should have on the trip. Not gonna lie, I mostly just put this on here because it has Elsa on it and I love Elsa. And then you might notice my little pin collection here. Here's the thing. I wouldn't say I'm a Disney pin collector. I just really like buying pins. Inside the bag there's like this little back pocket thingy. If this was being used as a school bag or something, I think this is where you're supposed to put like your pen. I usually like to keep chapstick in here or anything that's like small that might roll to the bottom and then you never find again. I also sometimes bring an emergency sewing kit. Nothing too crazy, just some simple thread, teeny tiny little sewing scissors, and safety pins. So I keep those in that little pocket too. Next, I have a Tide stick. I keep the Tide stick here. I guess it doesn't really matter where it goes. I mean, it's not perfect. It's not going to get all stains out. And honestly, if you're going hard at Disney World, like you're gonna look like a hot mess at the end of the day. But if you're gonna take some cute pictures, or if you're worried about spilling maybe some barbecue sauce from Flame Tree Barbecue on your light colored shirt and you don't want the stain to set or something, then the Tide stick is the way to go. It's easy to forget, but I highly recommend double checking to make sure that you have one in your park bag. I also usually keep some sunscreen. You probably should reapply sunscreen at some point in the day, especially in the summer, like when I went. I know it's common sense. I know you probably say that in your head when you leave the door out your Disney resort, but I guarantee some of you do forget anyways. So here is your reminder, don't forget your sunscreen and put it on even if you think you don't need it. I also keep a fan. This thing is like huge and it takes up a ton of space, but to me it's worth it because when I went last time it was July. The time I went before that it was August, and it gets so unbelievably hot. Not just like high temperatures, it is so humid. It's like you're walking through a pool all day. So obviously a fan like this, it's not air conditioning, it's not going to fix everything, but sometimes all you just need is some kind of airflow because it really can get super miserable, especially if you're stuck in a long line outside. I also like these kinds that have water in them. Oh my gosh, is that water in there? That water is so old. That's disgusting. Anyway, I think it was in my animal kingdom though, I shared my tip of asking for an extra cup of ice water, and then I always put any extra ice that I had from any of my drinks into my little fan. That way, even if it melts, it should be at least a little cooler than the other water that would otherwise be kept in here. It's not gonna make you cold, but it'll cool you off if you're desperate. In my opinion, if you're going in the middle of summer when it's super, super hot, I personally think something like this is worth it. I also always bring extra Ziploc bags. I have a lot here. I don't think all of this was necessary, but you never know when you're gonna run into something where you need an extra Ziploc bag. Maybe you're going on a water ride and you need to put your phone in something where you know it won't get wet. Maybe you lost the back of your earring and so you want to put the front of your earring in something so you won't lose it. Maybe your kid is eating a piece of hard candy and they want to save it for later, but you know if you put it in your pocket, it's gonna get goopy all in your pocket. I always make sure I bring some extra big ones as well because at the end of the day, my feet are swollen and sore and they hurt so bad. It's gotten to the point where I'm literally crying with each step as I go back to my resort. So I keep a bag handy so any kind of vending machine or pop machine that I walk past on the way back to my room, I can whip out one of my Ziploc bags, stash up on some ice, and then as soon as I get to the room, I can collapse, put my feet up, and put my little baggie of ice. Maybe you don't need this many, but definitely always keep a few plastic bags or Ziploc bags with you. I also have a little thing of tissues. I have this in a little Frozen themed Ziploc bag. First of all, because I love Frozen. Secondly, I feel like when you get those little like pocket packets of tissues, after you open it once, it's never really the same and doesn't close all the way. And then they're just all over the place. So I prefer to just put regular tissues in a plastic bag. I also keep a small umbrella. This is one of those kinds that like shrinks. I know that there are poncho people and there are umbrella people, and people are super loyal to their water repellent preferences. I tend to bring both, honestly. I prefer a poncho usually, but sometimes you need something that you can just real fast, you know? Honestly, if you're going during a rainy season, which I think is like the entire summer in Florida, you're gonna get wet. Whether you have a poncho, a raincoat, an umbrella, you're gonna get wet anyways. Speaking of ponchos, so if you're going to bring a poncho, get them beforehand. I like the little disposable kind because they usually come like really condensed and they don't take up a lot of space in your bag, and then you don't have to worry about folding it up or storing a wet plastic thing in your bag until you get home. You can just throw it away. Sometimes you can get a few uses out of them if you really want to anyways, but the kind that you buy in the parks are so expensive. But with rain gear in Florida, it's never a bad idea to bring more than you know that you're gonna use. Same thing with sunscreen. Florida is a weird state. I also brought wet ones. First of all, obviously hand wipes. You're not always going to have access to wash your hands really easily. After you've been in the parks for a few hours touching who knows what, do you really want to use those hands to eat that corn dog before washing them? Obviously, scrubbing your hands really well and washing them is always the best choice, but if you're in a pinch, wet ones. Also, I feel like there's a bunch of random other uses, like they're good at getting out stains. It's also nice to have something to wipe down a table, especially at outdoor places, but even indoor places where they haven't gotten to wiping down the table yet. It's nice to have something to just, you know, wipe anything that you're gonna touch. These are a couple of other things that I personally like to bring for me, for what I need, but definitely not a necessity for a Disney park bag. Staying out all day can get kind of gross. Like, you're gonna be real grimy by the end of the day. Not only do I feel kind of awkward because like I know I'm smelly at that point and I feel bad, like I don't want to be the stinky person like in line or something, but I just feel gross. Like, you know, like when you feel like the day is like caked on your skin and you're smelly and gross. Sorry if I'm getting like way too graphic, but I hate that feeling, and I wanted to look cute and feel cute. That did not happen for most of the trip, but at least it was a goal of mine for a while. So I did bring a little bottle of body spray. At least like if I smelled gross real quick, I could be like, well, at least I also smell like flowers too, or whatever. It made me feel better. And then I also brought these wipes. I brought these with me the last time that I went to Disney too, and these were like a lifesaver for me. So these are body wipes. I got them on Amazon. These say Survive Wear. I'm guessing that's the brand, but basically these are meant for like camping if you're going to be out in the wilderness for a while and you don't have access to a shower. But I bring these to the parks. You might not be camping, but you'll be sweating, and so it's nice if you're taking a bathroom break to just kind of like wipe down real fast, so that way I just don't feel so like ugh. And that's basically it. Body wipes, hand wipes, fan, rain gear, sunscreen, Ziploc bags. Oh, and while I was there, of course, I had like charging cables and stuff for my phone. But yeah, that's what's in my park bag. What works for me doesn't work for everybody. But if you're struggling to figure out what to bring in your own park bag, hopefully I was able to give you some ideas. I don't know if that helps at all, but hopefully it does at least a little bit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please check out the rest of my playlist for the other videos about my Disney World trip last summer. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, all that YouTube stuff.